Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at the Cadenhead's Hazelburn 13-year-old. 46%, Dustin.
Yeah, that's kind of the new, all these, at least the ones we get here in the States are all 46.
Cadenhead, yes.
Yes. They've created a cask strength series, which has a different bottle, and I've only seen them UK, so maybe we'll get them at some point, who knows.
Dustin, Hazelburn, one of our favorite non-peated expressions anymore these days.
Oh, yeah.
From the Springbank Distillery, their triple distilled non-peated version of their Campbelltown whiskey. I believe this was a 2013 bottling. Dustin, again, comes in at 46% ABV, like a lot of Springbanks do.
2023.
2023, forgive me. What did I say?
13.
Jeez.
You're thinking of the age and stuff, but yeah, 13 years. I don't think it says here exactly when it was, and this is going to be a small batch, so I believe this is a couple
barrels.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of detail there. And, of course, this is their unpeated, triple distilled single malt. You know, we actually had somebody recently comment on a video, Mike, at a Springbank, and they're like, I thought this was a blend until I looked it up. And I was like, we don't always cover the details.
Yes,
so
the small details. So if you didn't know, this is absolutely a single malt. It is a mixture of maybe a couple of casks, but that's still, since it's from the same distillery, a single malt, as opposed to mixing from multiple distilleries, which would be a blended malt.
There you go.
That's the difference. So you could blend a Hazelburn, a Springbank, and a Long Row together, and that's still a single malt. Yes,
that would technically be a single malt, but
be a weird one.
They need a new branding because those aren't separate malts. They are just a blend. Yeah, that's a new one.
It is. All right, on to the whiskey, what you guys are here for. Ooh. Sharp lemon.
This is a very earthy husk of hay and wheat kind of a note coming through here.
Golden hay, yep. Golden barley.
You can tell this has spent a lot more time in active casks than the traditional. I don't know if it's they use more first fill or maybe this is just the extra 3 years really did something, but it definitely has a different profile than the standard 10.
Yes, very, very citrus forward, very tart.
Yes, but that's the regular 10 too. This one's got like a little bit more earthiness and meat behind it.
It has that, but it has even more tartness in my opinion.
Oh, you think it's more tart? Okay.
It's pretty tart.
I think that because of the lack of cask influence, the 10 has a nice sour tartness that I love. That's actually probably my favorite part of the 10.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of sour tartness here. Very much reminiscent of Balvenie 12-year-old single barrel. So my guess right away would be this is probably reused bourbon casks.
You say that, but look at that color.
It does have a good color. I'm not saying they're not maybe charred, more heavily charred or something. Yeah. There may be some slight refill sherry influence in here.
There's no sherry. It's all bourbon.
Okay, so yeah, it is kind of what I thought, yeah.
Yeah, but, it's because, again, the 10 is almost clear. So this one, whatever they've done here, this definitely has gotten more oak influence. We know these Cadenheads aren't colored, and I don't believe chill filtered, so we're getting it natural.
I'll tell you what, this doesn't come off nearly as sweet as Hazelburns normally do. No,
it's not as sweet. It's not as citrus, but it has a much more oak presence. It's got more earthiness.
Yeah.
The front end's a little softer. The back end's way richer and heavier. That makes sense.
It smells like it's going to be an oily 46%er. At least that's what it comes off of the nose.
Yeah. It almost has kind of local barley kind of farm elements.
The golden hay note, when I said golden hay or golden wheat, earlier, I said there is something local barley-esque here. Or maybe Octomore sort of, local barley-esque there. Without the peat, obviously.
It's a very natural kind of a feel to it.
Beautiful spring day here, Dustin. Lovely time to enjoy this. I'm going to take a sip.
Go for it. Yeah. It's actually getting a little bit sweeter as it sits in the glass, which is nice. Yeah. The sweetness is kind of slightly turning up, but so is the tartness. So, definitely a evolving spirit.
No, I'm not saying those elements aren't on the palate, but they're subdued compared to what they were on the nose. Immediately, syrupy earthiness. Mm-hmm. Syrupy, earthy. The citrus note just plays a part here. Really nice, not disjointed. You still get a little bit of that sour. I would say a little bit of twinge of old oak, old vanilla oak. And just maybe here on the long linder, just a lingering kiss of something sweet, but not too sweet.
Oh man,
There's a lot going on. It's earthy at the beginning, big time.
it is earthy with a little bit of vanilla. Then you get a little bit of fruitiness, but it's light.
Citrus fruit?
Yeah, it's a little citrus fruit. Then that earthy kind of element really kind of takes over for a second, maybe two.
Yeah, on the mid palate.
And then the finish comes in and it hits you with a wallop of citrus fruits, tropical fruits. I'm getting like mangoes, lemons, limes. Light on the lime, mind you.
I'll give you
Maybe some like
tangerine.
Tangerines, maybe. Yeah. I mean, I would even go in a little bit of grapefruit notes coming through there with that kind of dry citrus bitterness. Really, really rich. And then it kind of fades back into that nice vanilla, hints of custard. Really nice. You don't get that kind of like a range of flavors and evolution in younger whiskeys like this.
Especially at 46.
Even cask strength. You don't get that until you get into older whiskeys. And also, it's not finished. But that's what the Hazelburn malt is really good at doing, is it gives you those transitions without a lot of work.
Yeah, no, it's
That's really impressive.
Yeah, it had quite a range of flavors there. It took you on a little bit of a journey, which is impressive for a 13-year-old 46% whiskey these days. Well done, the cask maturation. All right, now with water, I'm getting a little bit more of the Hazelburn, that sweet, candied, sugary Hazelburn note. I've always called it like a clean sugar, like a clean sugar cane or something like that, from like just the raw Hazelburn triple distilled spirit.
It's almost like crystallized rock candy or something, where like somebody just squeezed a little bit of like a lemon over it.
Sure. Yeah, I'm getting more of that now. It's getting a little earthier, a little more of that. The citrus note is spreading out a little bit more. Is becoming a little bit less substantial, but more encompassing. It's like a little drizzle over your pound cake.
Yeah. I think the earthiness has been toned down a bit, but the barrel note at the end is still pretty present. So it's brought down the earth, but I've now got like a much clear oak note.
We both agree this is a cleaner experience with a little bit of water.
Yes.
I said that's a normal Hazelburn spirit, but you're right, it had to get out of its own way to get there. So it was how you initially said. It's pretty oak driven at first. It's cask driven.
But there's like that earthy hay note initially that's not here as much, but I still get the oak on the finish. So I was agreeing with everything else you said. It was just I wanted to emphasize that there's this like the oak now is more distinct from that like earth note.
I agree.
Yeah. This just smells like darn good. Like independent bottlers, like clean expression. Like, hey, let me let you try this malt you don't have very often, or you don't get other ways. Like this is just a good show off of the malt.
How many times do we have a Hazelburn other than the 10, which has been many years since I've had that one? Mm-hmm. How many times have we had a Hazelburn that didn't have significant cherry maturation in it? It was just bourbon cask only.
I've got a single barrel that I don't think I've brought up here. Maybe I've brought it once, but
it's rare.
Yeah, they do it occasionally with some single casks. They've done some. Yeah, they usually do a finishing on it though.
Yeah, this goes to show you don't need Oloroso sherry to make this a sweet whiskey. Like there is natural sweetness in the Hazelburn spirit.
The foundation of Hazelburn is exceptional malt. Honest to God, Mike, I think it's the best malt in the Springbank lineup from a marketing perspective. Their goal was to make their distillery more in demand with that Macallan drinker. They have such a better malt that when you give it good sherry casks, it shines there. But if you put it on its own, I mean, it just curb stomps Macallan's and inferior malt.
Yeah, it's almost like Balvenie. You can go bourbon cask and be a very desirable malt. You can go heavy sherry, it can be a very desirable malt. Dustin and I are both in agreement on this point. Like, Macallan has to be one way, heavily sherried. Like, we've had bourbon cask maturation ones. Okay, we've had
maybe if it's 30 years old, it'll get there. But.
Right, and we've had ones that were independent bottlers that used heavy sherry, but not Oloroso sherry.
Not the same Macallan class.
Yeah, it isn't the same. It falls flat.
Yeah, no, Balvenie's a better, I guess, malt comparison for sure.
Not great.
But my point is, like, if you're trying to go after that, like, people who want a very clean, easy drinking malt, this can get out of the way and let the casks do their show, or it can be the show. It's very malleable, very effective.
This very much reminds me of the high quality of the old Balvenie 15-year-old single barrel bourbon casks, like where you're getting a quality product here. Like this is good oak maturation. These are bourbon casks, but they haven't been used too much. Ooh. Maybe a time or two.
Oh, now the vanilla custard notes are really rich here. Oh yeah, you're getting like nice oak notes coming through with this really rich, slightly like toasted vanilla. French vanilla, dare I say. Yeah, that's nice. little bit of like toffee note kind of coming through. Maybe like as the burning on the vanilla slightly started to like, change the notes there. Nice, clean, toasted bread, kind of a finish from the oak casks. Maybe even a little bit of butter on there, Mike. Just a hint.
Dude, I mean, you're right about that whipped vanilla note. It almost reminds me of, what do you call those? Cream puffs.
Okay.
You ever,
Yeah.
We have a German place here downtown in Columbus, Ohio, and they make the best cream puffs. And it's like that sugary buttercream, along with just a little bit of, when you said toasted bread, I'm like, it's baked bread. It's baked puff.
But you can tell it's browned on the top.
Yeah, just a kiss.
Yeah, no black, just a little brown.
That was even fun with the water. Yeah, no, a lot of good moving around parts right there.
Yeah.
Solid
Beautiful
offering.
Yeah.
All right, Dustin. So this is your whiskey, so I'll go first as far as the whiskey score. You had open not long. But this is my first time with it.
Couple weeks.
Yep. So I'm going to call this going back and forth between two scores. I'm going to get the higher of the two scores. Maybe it's because my first drink today, but I've been enjoying it. So I'm at an 88 out of 100 on this one. Good mouthfeel, multiple levels to this one, multiple flavors. Good palate, good nose, good finish. I didn't mention earlier, but neat when I first swallowed. That finish lasted until I took the next sip.
Yeah.
As I suspected, a little bit more viscous than a normal 46% would normally be. But I'm an 80 out of 100. I think it's a pretty good score. I really enjoy this whiskey. Maybe a tad, maybe 1 point high. What do you think?
Don't actually strongly disagree with that last part.
Oh, higher.
88, I'm dead on with you. I think this is a solid definition of an 88, Mike.
Good whiskey.
Excellent,
Fun whiskey.
excellent whiskey for about 130 is what I paid for it.
Great value.
I've got no problem with that. I mean, I know we used to get $10 per year at cask strength. Now we get it at 46.
Not anymore.
That's the nature of the world, but this is really good. So I've had this a couple times, but as you know, Mike, I have a routine for making sure my palate's ready when I come up here to do reviews, just so it's like consistent.
Arby's, right?
Yeah. Salty food before, man. Every time, consistent palate. I try not to drink heavy the night before.
Or no.
I usually have. I mean, it's Friday night. I always got to have one right after work, right?
Yeah, we do this on Saturdays.
But yeah, so I try to I go into the gym beforehand, then I get Arby's as my post workout.
Yeah,
It's not the healthiest post workout, but it's consistent.
we get to drinking.
But so when I first had this, I was a little shaky on how it all worked because I was like, that's a lot earthier than I was expecting.
Yeah, in a good way.
The transitions weren't quite as bold as I was maybe hoping because the 10 kind of impressed me. But today, I tell you what, it's doing everything the 10 does on those transitions and finish. Mm-hmm. But it adds an extra layer of richness and depth that I really like. I don't know that this is better than the 10.
It is.
This is great whiskey. 88 all day.
Nice.
Oh, man, those 10s have been so good lately.
We'll have to go back to them. We'll have to do a comparison review. Anyway, those are our thoughts on this particular whiskey. If you guys had a chance to try Cadenhead's 13-year-old Hazelburn, 46% ABV, bottled in 2023. Let us know what you guys think. Dustin, until next time, what do you wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.